So students, we are in the business environment session, so we can have chapter 2 in today's session. So already we have covered the introduction to management and different perspectives of management, where we have studied about these 12 areas like introduction to management and organizational resources and organizational purpose, efficiency, effectiveness, productivity, and management functions and necessity and classification of managers, management roles, requirements for a good management, and the modern management challenges, as well as the evaluation of management. So these are the topics we have actually studied. And uh, and in today's session, our focus is going to be with chapter 2, functions of management process. So in these functions of management process, there are a lot of areas we have to cover. And in today's session, we are gonna focus on the first topic, that is decision making. Normally, we will have decision making and planning and organizing, leading and controlling. There are five sections in this chapter two. And in today's session, we are gonna start with the decision making chapter because this is your 35 percentage of your entire syllabus. So this is where we are going to spend most of our time. So functions of management process, let's learn about the decision making process. There are 1.11. It means 11 subsections are available in this decision making process. So let's initiate with 1.1, and that is the introduction to decision making and basic concepts. Give me a minute, my dears. I think I have opened Right. Okay. So decision making, and in this decision making area, my dears, we have 1.1 to 1.11. The 1.1 is introduction to decision making and the basic concept. So we will learn about the basics concept, right? So, for example, imagine if you are a young entrepreneur from Peta market, right? Standing at your small electronic shop, you know, you are holding two offers in your hands. Like one is to expand your business to another branch, and one is to partners with any other mobile accessories, right? So you have to take the decisions like this, my dears. In our daily lives, we also have to take decisions in every days, right? So that's what it's very important to see the introduction to decision making and basic concepts area. So management decision making, there are stages. There are stages in the management decision making. So the top management follows these stages when making management decisions using information to achieve the company's mission and objectives. So we are talking about the top management people, not in the lower level or middle level. So we are talking the top management people. They follow some stages when making the management decision using the information. Because in financial accountings also we have seen the definition that financial accounting is giving the information to the stakeholders to take decisions. Like that, we need information to take the decision. For what? To achieve the company's mission and objectives, right? So these are the steps by the top management people. So let's see what are the steps. The first one is the plan and decision making and controlling. For example, they will do some particular type of planning, right? For example, today is Saturday, so you are planning, okay, for my restaurant, okay, more tourists will come, so I need to arrange some extra ingredients for my restaurant's food. So that is about particular type of planning. So decision making is a particular type of planning, and after that you will do some decision making, right? It means based on your planning you have done in the first step, right? For example, for the restaurant example, so you will decide, okay, let's buy some 5 kilogram of extra chicken, right? And also let's take some another people help, so you can extend the working hours till 11 p.m. So that's decision making, and after that you will do some sort of controlling part also. So controlling in the sense, at night, so okay, you can think, right? You know, you can review. Okay, did we serve everyone well? Did we make profit? What should we charge? Okay, it's enough for us, and what should be the change for the tomorrow? So that's the controlling. So usually the top management people think like this. So the planning and decision making and controlling. This is simply a management decision making stages. So every successful business person, from small shop owner to big companies, they follow the same three stages, my dears: planning, decision making, and controlling. So first they will do the planning, and they will take a decision, and after that they will control whether it worked or not, right? And in decision making stage, managers make informed decision for the betterment of the organization using available information. So we will take some decision with the available information, right? I'll highlight the word available information here. In the decision making project process, managers are involved in choosing between two or more alternatives. It means we have the choice. We have the choice to take decisions. So that is alternatives, at least two alternatives. So you will choose the best one. So to make it such a decisions, managers need accurate and reliable information to carry out detailed analysis and make logical conclusion. So they did some planning, and after that they have to take a decision. To take that decisions, they need very accurate as well as some reliable information. Then they can choose, okay, this is best for our company's mission, objectives. So that is the management decision making stages in a very simple manner, right? And let's see the definition of decision making in proper way. So the definition, the definition is here data, right? So definition, decision making is one of the central activities of management and is a huge part of any process of implementation. It is the study of identifying and choosing alternatives based on the values and preferences of the decision maker. What they're trying to tell. Let's focus on the text here. Decision making is one of the central activities of management. It means it's a main core activity of management. Management means planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So you have to take decisions in every part. And it's a huge part of any process of implementation. So this is the first huge part. Even if you want to take some planning part, before planning, you have to decide, okay, I have to take a planning. I have to do planning, right? So huge part of any process of implementation, it is the study of identifying and choosing the alternatives. So you have to choose what are the alternatives ways it is available there to fulfill my achievement. And based on the values and preferences of the decision maker, you will choose the best one. That's simply a decision making. You have alternatives, you have to choose the best choice. That is decision making, right? So it's about choosing the best option from many choices to solve your particular problem. And you will make this problem as an opportunity. For example, you own a small textile shop in Peta Market. Let's imagine, last month the customers kept asking for children's school uniforms, but you only sold adult clothing only. Now you have a choices. First one, you can ignore that customer request and you can lose the money, right? The first option. And the second option or choice, you can start selling school uniforms also. That is a new opportunity. And otherwise, there is a third option also. You can partner with another shops and they are selling the uniform, so you can partner with them and you can take the goods and at a margin of profit and you can sell it to the people who are with you. Anyway, so you have to understand, my dears, these are the three options, so choices. So now you have to choose to start one choice. It means you can start selling school uniforms, right? That's your choice. So picking one option from the three is decision making, right? So my dears, this is a simple example. For example, like dialogue customer service centers, they will take decisions, right? Constantly choosing between different alternatives to help the companies grow. So that's all about decision making proper definition. So decision making can be defined as the act of choosing one, okay, choosing the one alternative among the set of alternatives. So choosing one, that's an important word here. You will have alternative options like in the picture. You can have three alternatives. You have to choose only one. Right? So choosing one from the alternatives is simply a decision making process. Right? So let's see the relationship between problem solving and decision making. There is a relationship. So decision making is always related to problem solving. Why? Because we are identifying a problem and we are developing the alternatives ways to solve that problem, and choosing a solution is a decision making, right? So identifying problems and opportunities, right? For example, my dears, let me tell you an example. Imagine your name is Zainab and you manage Food City in the Betiklo area. One day you notice, customers are complaining about the long queues in the checkout counter. So this is a problem. But finding the solution is requiring making decisions. So you have to find a solution. Okay. So first you have to identify the problems or opportunities. So problems means that for the customers, for the general people, for the society, it's a problem because they are not doing the business. They don't have the solution. And you are the person doing the business. So for you, their problem is your opportunity, right? So you have identified the problem as per my example. Okay, the customers are complaining about the long queues at the checkout, and now you are analyzing the available alternatives, right? You are analyzing the available alternatives. Okay, what are the possible ways I can solve this particular problem, right? For example, you are seeing like, okay, should I hire more cashier? So shall I solve this problem of long queues? So you are seeing that option. And you are thinking, okay, should I install self checkout machines? Okay, people can come and give their card, and they can scan the barcode themselves, and self checkout machines, right? You are thinking about that option. And another option, okay, should I change the store layout so I can, have plenty of spaces so customers' queues can be, reduced? That's another option. And another option, you are thinking, okay, should I extend the operating hours so the customers can come, with the flexible times? So this is alternatives. So analyzing the available alternatives, then selecting the best course of action, the best, right? From the available alternatives I have set, if we are choosing the best course of action, this is something we are learning right now, that is decision making, right? So identifying the problems and seeing that as an opportunity and analyzing the available alternatives are problem solving thing. Selecting the best course of action after your analysis is considered as decision making. So your problem is here. Okay, why are customers leaving our store? Why there is a queue? And you are checking the available alternatives. What are the all possible solution? And you are selecting. Okay, you are selecting. Okay, we have to hire more cashiers. So that is your best solution according to you. It can be subjective. For different people, different managers, they can choose the best alternatives according to their knowledge level. So, and implementing and evaluating the decisions in the problem solving. Okay, this is my decision. You are implementing the decision and evaluating whether my decision is solved my problems or not. You are try it and see if it works or not. That's entire process of problem solving. In this problem solving, the third step, selecting the best course of action, is, you know, that is decision making. So decision making is part of the problem solving. That's the relationship. Okay, so I hope so you understood. And now we will consider about the problem versus opportunities. As I mentioned earlier, for the society, if it is a problem, it's to be solved. Or for your customers, if it is a problem, for the business, that is an opportunity to do a business, to make profit, right? So the first one is, let's learn about the problem. The definition here for the problem is the gap between the current status of affairs and the desired status of affair is known as the problem. So the gap means the difference. What the people need, their desire, right? The gap. There's a difference between the current status there right now and the desired status. There is a difference. There is a gap. That's what they're thinking. It's a problem. Let me tell you about, two friends. Let's say Farhan and Nawaz, who both own shops. They have their own shops, my dears. Let's say in Candy, their stories will help you understand the difference between problems and opportunities. Okay, I'll tell you the story. The first thing is, let's talk about, uh, Farhan's problem. Okay, there's a two people. Okay, Farhan and what's the other name I told? Nawaz, right? Okay. So Farhan, so he owns a current a small grocery store in near Candy Market. So he is expecting to earn 50,000 monthly profit, but he is now only earning 30,000 monthly profit. So there is a gap. How much? So he desire the desired status of Farhan is 50,000 rupees monthly profit. But the current status is going to be only 30,000. So the gap is rupees 20,000. That is the problem. That's the problem. Farhan is worrying. Why is this happening? Because so you are talking, okay, this is the problem, and you are trying to solve, and you're thinking, okay, why is this happening? Why I can't reach monthly 50,000 profit? So you are analyzing, okay, you got the answers. Okay, customers complain, items are expensive in our shop, so people are not buying, so I'm not earning more revenue. And you are thinking, okay, from nearby, there's a Cargill's food city, so there is a heavy competition. So customers are going there. Then you are identifying this is the root cause of your problem. And also, some products expire before selling. So you are losing your revenue. So that also one of the problem, your profit, because you have to put it as an expense, right? Your profit is reducing there. So that's what you are earning only 20 30,000. And staffs comes late to work. So people are, coming to the, customers are coming to the shop, but it's closed. So these are the problem that make the gap to achieve that 50,000 monthly profit from 50,000 monthly profit from 30,000. And let's analyze, this is how you have to analyze the problem. So the problem is the gap between the desired results and the current results, right? I'm giving an example here. The executive team of ABC company is not working as a team, right? They seem to be more interested in their functions than working as a team under assigned leadership. In some cases, they fight or don't even talk to each other. This is a problem normally in every team members, my dears. They don't like to work together as a team. They are happy with doing their own things. So in companies, these are the problems you're identifying. So the key characteristics of problems are always, my dears, this is going to be represents a deviation from expected performance, because you are expecting something, but your current status is something. So something is wrong with the current situation. Just the same examples I'm saying with a Farhan shop also. Something is wrong with the current situation. That's problem. At the same time, it requires some corrective action. You have to correct it. You have to solve the problem in a rational way, right? That is requires corrective action, right? It requires some fixes. At the same time, it indicates something is wrong in the current situation. Something is wrong with the current situation. These are the characteristics in a problem, right? So this is just a problem, how we are seeing as a problem, right? And let's see the opportunity, right? So the definition of opportunity, my dears, the external environmental influence or the possibilities to start up some work is known as opportunity. You know, the external environment influence, because normally the opportunity will come from external environmental analysis, from this SWOT analysis, right? Or the possibilities to start up some work. You are seeing some possibilities. You can do something to solve this problem. So that's an opportunity. You can earn profit. Therefore, opportunities is a situation that occurs when circumstances offer an organization a chance to exceed the stated goals and objectives. That is something opportunity. Simply, it's a chance to do better than expected or planned. For example, let's say now Nawaz problem, Nawaz opportunity, okay? Nawaz owns a mobile phone repair shop in the same area as Farhan. So during COVID-19, he noticed many people working from home needed laptop repairs. Right? So this was not a problem. He's seeing it as an opportunity. So now what you're doing is quickly you learn about laptop repairing and you gain that skills, and now you earn rupees 80,000 monthly, much more than your original 40,000 goal. For example, your goal is just 40,000, but now you're earning 80,000 monthly. So this is opportunity from external environment, and there are some possibilities to start and do something. That is an opportunity. For example, turning a hobby into a business, that's an opportunity, right? You are turning your hobby and into a business. You know very well about, you know, graphic designing, and you are turning that is as a opportunity, business. In decision making, turning an upfilling idea into profitable manner is Kaizen concept in effective productivity, where the situation turns into a profitable methodology. You know, you have an idea, you are turning your uplifting idea into profitable manner, right? So your idea is going to serve more people, and we will learn about the Kaizen concept. That's a Japanese concept. Okay. So in an effective productivity, where the situation will turns into a profitable methodology, that is simply opportunities. And the key characteristics are it represents potential for improvement, right? In opportunity, it represents an improvement potential, right? There is a chance to improve your, beyond current performance. That is opportunity. And it offers chance to exceed the current performance, as I mentioned earlier, right? So that's an opportunity, as well as it provides competitive advantage. It provides a competitive advantage. Usually that's a characteristic, right? You know about competitive advantage, right? Right. So these are the key characteristics of opportunity. So now you know the problem versus the opportunity. Okay. You know about the key characteristics of opportunities, examples, right? Everything. So now, my dears, let's think about the key differences between the problem versus opportunities, right? So you can see here the key differences are the problem we are defining as the gap between the reality and the assumption. Assumption means in your mind you have something to achieve, but in reality that's not. So that is something a gap problem. But opportunity is facility in reality. It means you have the facility. There is a possibility in your current reality. We can say in like that, possibility in the current reality. That is opportunity. And the problem, it requires some corrective action. It means it requires fixing something wrong, right? But opportunity, it enables proactive action. It means you have to improve something good. Already something good, so you have to improve. And in the problem, it addresses deficiencies, right? It means we are responding to troubles. It means a reactive approach. Already something, there's a problem. But opportunities exploits the potential benefits. It's a proactive approach. You are grabbing some chances, right? So this is a reactive, responding to troubles already there. Proactive means you are, grabbing some chances. That is in the future. So normally, my dears, the problems are addressing what's missing, but opportunities are exploits what's possible, right? So that is the key differences you must know. The problem versus opportunities. So how managers differentiate problems from opportunities? The process of identifying the problems versus opportunities, my dears, it involves some sort of, steps. There are, you know, four steps we can identify. The first step is recognizing the facts clearly, right? So smart managers, my dears, always they follow these four steps to understand what they are dealing with, right? So first, they recognize the facts very clearly, because managers must first identify the situation clearly, right? So they have to recognize the facts. For example, you notice few customers on weekdays. But is this a real issue or just a symptom of something deeper? So, okay, you are understanding the situation very clearly. The real problem is nearby competition opened with the lower prices. That is your symptom. Your empty store on weekdays because of there's a competition opened with the lower prices. So you identify the situation very clearly, the fact. That's the first step, right? Recognize the facts clearly and distinguish between symptoms and actual problems or opportunities. So first thing is you have to identify the situation very clearly, then distinguish means differentiate between the symptoms and the actual problems. So you know this is just symptoms, but the actual problem is something somewhere. So you have to recognize that, right? So the symptom is something happened because of something already happened, right? So that is distinguish between the symptom and actual problem, as I explained to you earlier. And the step two is going to be that is evaluate impact on the service, right? You have to assess whether it makes a different shade or not, right? Let's make it more understandable. Assess whether it makes difference to the service, right? It means what? Will this situation affect how well we serve our customers? You have to assess it, right? Evaluate the impact on your services. First, you have to recognize the key fact, right? And after that, you have to evaluate the impact on your service, right? So you are thinking about, okay, are customers getting worst service because of this situation, because of the competition, and are we doing something bad? If yes, it's likely a problem. If customers could get better service, it might be an opportunity, right? And you are determine the significance of the issue. So evaluate impact on the service and determining the significance of the issue. So this is something, the evaluation part. So first thing is, identifying the problem versus opportunities. You have to recognize the fact, right? The facts. It's not a problem or it's just a symptom. And you have to evaluate the impact on service. The second step to identify the problem versus opportunities. And the third one is assess the worthiness, right? What is that worthiness means? You're going to see all the alternatives and you're going to test which one is worth for our time. So is it worth spending time, money, and effort on this, right? So evaluate how worthwhile it would be to solve this problem. Is it make benefit to us to solve this problem? And you will determine the potential benefits I will receive, right? So that is assess the worthiness. For example, for problems, to solve the problems, my dears, how much will it cost to fix? Or how much we are going to lose by ignoring the problem? So you are evaluate how worthwhile it would be to solve the problem. But for opportunities, how much effort is needed versus how much benefit we can gain. That's the potential. So problems are something different aspect and opportunities are something different aspect. So that is assess the worthiness and identify the relevant factors, right? What are the relevant factors it is making the things good or bad? So the first is distinguish what factors are relevant for the decision making and eliminate the irrelevant factors from consideration, right? So identify the relevant factors in the sense you have to focus only on what really matters for you making decisions, right? So you are thinking about some irrelevant factors also. So you learn the relevant factors are like, the relevant factors, our focus should be current customer feedback, recent sales data, available resources. And there are some irrelevant factors. What competitors did 5 years ago, irrelevant. Your personal opinions without facts, it's irrelevant. The rumors from the other stores, that is irrelevant. So you have to identify what is relevant as well as irrelevant. So then you can identify whether I'm having a problem or a opportunity, right? So I can say an example, right? Right? A Pizza Hut hotbox example, my dears. When Pizza Hut came to Colombo, they faced a problem. The pizza got cold during the delivery in Sri Lankan traffic because, heavy sun, right? But they saw an opportunity. Sri Lankan families love hot and fresh food, right? So, for someone's problems is our opportunity. So, the solution is they have created some special heat retaining boxes, and also that keep the pizzas hot for 45 minutes, so perfect for the Colombo traffic jams, right? So they turned a problem into an opportunity and it became very successful, right? So that's what, my dears, there are people, they are seeing this is a problem, but people are seeing that this is an opportunity also. So now you can consider why I'm thinking about this. Okay, so here see the example, the Pizza Hut hotbot. The keeping a pizza warm during the delivery is the problem, right? Keeping pizza warm during delivery. And the opportunity is customers' need for warm food, as I explained earlier. And the solution is manager matched both concepts to create innovative hot dot box, right? And the result is innovative solution that addressed problem and exploited opportunity, right? So now this is how managers should differentiate the problems from opportunities. Now, my dears, you have to think why it is important for the decision making. Why is decision making is important? So the decision making is one of the main functions of the management, my dears, because management functions are planning, organizing, leading, controlling. But before the planning, organizing, leading, and controlling, we have to decide to plan. Before decision, even you can't do the planning. So decision making is one of the main functions of management. The senior management has to take some strategic decision. In the decisions also, we can classify something as a strategic decision, something as an operational decision, something as a middle level manager's decision. So the top level people, it means the senior management will do the strategic level. Strategic level decision means always they are focusing on the long term benefits, not the short term benefits, right? And in order for actions to be initiated and the resources to be utilized, right, is one of the main function, the decision making. So the key importance areas are in the decision making, my dears. We can say facilitates management process. It's actually facilitating the management process. That's what it's very important. Why? Decision making occurs after the planning stage, right? So decision making is like the engine that powers all other management activities, right? Okay, they're mentioning after the planning stage. Okay, but okay, so for the theory, just take it after the planning stage. We have to decide. Okay, so first we will do planning, and after that we have to do the decision. So first, but in fact, we have to decide, right? We have to take a decision to plan also. But in theoretical manner, the decision making occurs after the planning stage, right? So first we have to do the planning, and after the planning stage, we have to do decision making. So it's an engine that powers all other management activities after planning, right? And it allows actions to be taken based on business objectives decided during the planning stage, right? It allows actions to be taken because you have to choose actions, right? There are so much of alternative actions available to achieve your planning. You have to organize, you have to lead, you have to do motivation, you have to control. So it will allow actions to be taken based on your objectives, right? You have decided during your planning stage, you have already planned. So now you have to choose the best possible action to achieve that plan, right? And it helps in facilitating the entire management process, my dears, right? How? After planning, you have to do organizing. How it will help? You will decide how to structure the teams and the department. So you have to do decision making, and you have to do staffing. You have to decide who to hire, who to promote, who to train. And after that, you have to do the coordination. You have to decide how different departments work together. You have to do communication. You have to decide what information to share and how. So it will help to facilitating the entire management process. So after planning, your organizing, there will be so much of process. In your leading, in your controlling parts, every stage you have to take decision. And the decision making is a particular type of planning. So we are saying it's a type of planning actually, a way of planning actually, right? Because we are thinking in a way just same like planning. We are determining our goals and we are deciding what kind of actions are to be taken. That is planning, right? Right? So every decisions it commits resources, time, money, people. Every decision it aims to achieve some specific objectives. Every decision it requires some considering the alternatives. Right? So that is decision making is a particular type of planning. A decision is a type of plan involving commitment to resources for achieving specific objectives. Right? A decision is a type of plan involving commitment to resources. So you have to do a commitment for your resources. The resources can be man, money, material, machine, method, whatever. Right? So that's the important. And it is important when carrying out other functions like organizing, staffing, coordinating, and communicating, as I mentioned earlier. So this is what, my dears, it facilitates management process, right? So that's an important of decision making. So it facilitates the entire management process. Entire management process means after planning, it will help to do all the stuffs, right? So that's the point. Management process facilitation. And the second is it's a continuous nature. What this means, continuous nature? Managers, they never stop making decision, my dears. It's happening all day, every day. For example, if you are running a restaurant, students, give me a minute. The azan is going on. Give me 2-3 minutes. Right, so let's continue, my dears. It's a continuous nature. As I mentioned, every day we will make decisions, right? So the first point is decision making is a continuous one. Every day we will do decisions, and all managers at all levels required to make decision regarding assigned responsibilities. We will assign some responsibilities for them, and they have to take the decisions, right? And continuous decision making facilitates follow up actions, right? So you have to follow up once you made the decision. So continuous decision making facilitate follow up actions also. So let me tell you one example, my dears. For example, in your restaurant chain, you own some three restaurants in Kandy, Goa, and Colombo. And look at your continuous decision making. For a 6 a.m., you decide which restaurant needs your attention today. Is it Kandy or Goa or Colombo? Right? You are taking a decision at 6 a.m. morning. And in 8 a.m., okay, you decide menu changes based on the ingredient availability that day. And 10 a.m. again morning, you decide whether to approve the new employee's leave request or not. And the 12 p.m., sometimes you can decide how to handle the customer complaint in goal branch. And 3 p.m., you decide whether to accept the catering order for 200 people for the new wedding. Okay. And 6 p.m. evening, you decide evening shift staffing, based on the reservations. And 9 p.m. you are thinking and you decide you are review the day's decisions and plans for the tomorrow's improvement. So that is, it's a continuous process. Why continuous decisions matters, my dears? Because business environment changes constantly, right? Every day new challenges, customers needs evolve, innovation, the competition, it creates new pressures. So we have to do follow up actions. So for our constant decisions. So that is what it's the key important. It's a continuous nature and it addresses new challenges, right? It addresses new challenges. It enables organization to deal with new problems and challenges. It means always, my dears, a good decision. It making helps actually. It making helps companies survive and thrive when unexpected things happen, right? So it enables the organization to deal with new problems and challenges. So how? For example, let's say our very well-known story, COVID-19. When COVID-19 hit Sri Lanka, many businesses struggled. But for example, your restaurant, you own small restaurant near the Colombo University made some smart decisions, right? So your challenge is, you know, COVID-19, but you made some smart decisions and your business survived. That is, the decision making is enables organization to deal with new problems and challenges. And unforeseen changes in the external business environment may lead to new challenges. You know, sometimes a government can ban dine-in customers in a traditional, right, restaurants. So you will face that as a challenge, right? You have to quickly start home delivery using the three-wheelers. Sometimes you have to create some family meal packages for the 1,200 rupees, like serves for four people. Sometimes you have to partner with nearby grocery store to sell your food. You can start cooking classes even online for rupees 500 per session. So there are some unforeseen changes in the external business environment. They made to new challenges. So you have to address the challenges and take the decisions. And proper decisions necessary to overcome challenges effectively, right? You have to take proper decisions, right? You have to differentiate your product. Sometimes you have to clarify your strategy. You have to reallocate the budget, right? So you have to have a proper decisions. It is necessary to overcome the challenges effectively. So addressing the new challenges also, it's one of the key important areas of decision making. And critical task nature. So making good decisions, it can make or break your business, my dears, right? So sometimes it will make you, sometimes it will break you. So decision making is a critical task. It's a very important task for your business. It means it's important for your survival of your business. For example, you started, one mobile phone shop in Jaffna 10 years ago. But today you own 12 shop across the northern province. So your success came from making consistently good decision, right? So it made you. So your right decisions, for example, in 2018, you decided to focus on smartphone repairs. When everyone sold only phones, so you decided your decision is focus on smartphone repairs. It is in 2018. And 2019, you decided to hire some female staff to attract female customers. So that is your decision. And in 2020, you decided to offer some home delivery systems during the lockdown systems. That is your decision. In 2021, you decided to start some selling phone accessories online. That is your decision. In 2022, you have decided to offer some 6-month warranties on repair. So these decisions made you to open 12 shops across northern province. So that is, the decision is critical task. If you take correct decisions, your business will success. If you make some bad decision, you have to close your business. So that is what, it's a very critical task. And managers need to make effective and quick decisions. Effective decisions means very quality decisions as well as quick decision. Don't delay, right? That's the, effective decision. So each right decisions and quick decisions, it will increase the high profits, business growth, employee satisfaction, customer trust, market leadership, everything it will give you. So the managers need to make effective and quick decision, and they must ensure they are making the right decisions also. Only the right decision will give you the results. And right decisions, it will lead organization to success, right? And wrong decisions, it will lead to instability as well as loss, right? That is critical task nature. So my dears, these are the importance, the key importance. So it facilitates the entire management process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Especially after planning, the decision making is coming. And the nature is going to be a continuous nature. This is not a one time task. And a decision making always will address new challenges, and then only we will take the decision. As well as it's very critical task. It will save your business or it will close your business because of your decisions. So this is the key importance, right? So this is why a decision making is important, right? And let's think about the rational decision making process, right? So rational means practically how we can do some decision, right? So the goal, let's think about decision making should be a method that is systematically select the best option given that the alternative choices based on the reason and facts. So simply, it should be a method systematically. You have to have a systematical approach, right? You have to do first this, second this, to select the best option, right? Selecting the best option itself, decision making. To select the best option, given the alternative choices, you have the alternative choices. Might be you have 3 choices. You have to choose one. That is your decision making. Based on the reasons and fact you have analyzed, you have to choose one alternative, right? In a traditional decision making process, prior to the selection of best courses of action, a business manager will frequently engage in a sequence of analytical steps. We will do some analysis with the data, with the facts, to evaluate the relevant facts, annotations, and the potential outcomes. What this means, my dear, simply, let me explain to you in a simple manner, right? So the decision making, simply a step by step method, right? For example, imagine you are helping your friend, who owns a small bakery in Kandy. So his business is struggling actually, and you need to make some crucial decision to save it. So instead of panicking and guessing, let's follow some rational decision making process. It's going to be a proven method. It should be a proven method that turns your confusion into clarity. You can use logics, facts, some systematic thinking way. Instead of using emotion and guesswork, you have to choose the best option through a systematic manner. So now what you are doing, Okay, you are analyzing, okay, your monthly profit, your friend monthly profit dropped from 150,000 to 50,000 in 6 months. That's the problem. Okay, instead of guessing and emotional, right? He worried about, he doesn't know what to do, right? So should he close the bakery or change the location or find the new recipes? Right? Let's help him using rational decision making process. Right? That is rational decision making process. You have to think systematically, not emotionally. Right? So the steps of rational decision making process. What are the steps in rational decision making problems? Right? So there are steps. We can consider that first step, second step, third step. Right. So these are the steps. The first step is defining and analyzing the real problem, right? So the problem, we have to understand, right? You have to define and analyze what's actually a problem. So the key activities here, the manager should first find out what's the real problem, right? And the problems, it can be, due to bad relations between the employees, between the management. So there can be several reasons. So sometimes, the problem because of decreasing in the sales, and it will increase the cost. So maybe the problems because of several reasons in your business. So first, the activity is you have to identify and define the real problem and it is root causes. So we know, right, the important distinction between the symptoms and the problems. So the manager should carefully decide whether the identified issue is the real problem or the symptom of the problem. I have, if you have some problem in your body, the symptoms will be you can get fever. The fever is the symptom, not the problem. The problem is your immune system. So you have to differentiate, is it a problem or is it a symptom of the problem? Right? So the symptom is very apparent characteristics of the problem that provides the direction to diagnose the real problem. So it is like a clue, right? The symptom, it will show there is a problem. So for example, decreasing the sales may be the symptom of the customer bad attitude towards the product, right? Because the customer's bad attitude, that's what the problem of decreasing the sales. So decreasing the sales is not the problem. That is the symptom, ideas, right? So the process is based on all symptoms, the manager can analyze the situations, why the symptom is coming. And you can find more information to clearly define the managerial problem you're facing, right? And after finding the true problem, because you know the symptoms and you followed that and you found the real problem. So after finding the true problem, the manager must analyze it carefully and find out the cause and effect of the problem. So first thing is you must know, you have to analyze the real problem. Sometimes you are thinking the symptoms as a problems, but that's not the real problem, ideas. So this is the steps of rational decision making process. If you are doing systematic decision making, first you have to think, okay, what I am analyzing, is it a problem or is it a symptoms only? So you have to analyze the real problem. And the second one is you have to develop some alternative solutions, right? So now you know what is symptoms and what is the real problem. And the real problems, okay, what are the alternative solution for that real problems? You have to develop that alternative solutions, right? So the requirements are, after defining and analyzing the real problem, managers should develop alternative solutions, right? You have to think alternative ways to solve that problem. Only realistic solutions should be considered. What does mean by realistic problems? So realistic problem means, yes, this is actually in practically we can solve. We can't do something unrealistic, right? So that is only realistic solution, right? So sometimes, for example, you have alternative solution, like you can compete with a new bakery. You can improve the freshness by baking multiple times daily. You can add new product like fresh juice and ice cream for your home restaurant. You can create home delivery service using three-wheeler. You can change the location to place with parking. You can extend operating hours to serve evening customers. You can partner with nearby shops to sell their products. Sometimes you can focus on special occasions like birthday cakes and party orders. So these are alternative solutions to increase your revenue or profit, right? So you have to think about the realistic solution and use group participation and computers for developing alternatives. For the moment, people are using artificial intelligence, right? So group participations, participate with your teammates, right? And develop some alternatives. So the key principles for generating alternatives, my dears, you have to generate multiple options first, right? Multiple options, only not only with two or three. And after that, you have to consider the feasibility of each alternative. Feasibility means whether I can afford this with this cost of alternatives, because every alternative, every option, it will cost differently. It will have own opportunity cost, and it will involve relevant stakeholders in the brainstorming. Brainstorming means we have to discuss with other people and get the idea. Every idea should be welcome, and it will involve with different people, right? Customers, employees, family members. You have to find alternatives. Think beyond obvious solutions. Be creative. Don't waste time on impossible ideas. Only consider the realistic. So those are the key principles when you are developing alternative solutions. That is your second step in the rational decision making. And the third one, evaluating alternative solution. Now, you know the real problem, not the symptoms. You develop alternative solutions. Now you are going to evaluate. Evaluate means you are going to, put some ranks. Okay, if I choose the first option, what are the benefits I can get? What's my cost? So you will think about multiple factors: the cost, time, feasibility, risk, and the impact. So the evaluation criteria are: the manager should carefully evaluate the merits and demerits. Merit means the benefits, and the demerits, the disadvantages of alternative solution, right? You have to evaluate. Sometimes you have to reduce the price. It will cost 30,000 per month lost if your decision is taking to reduce the price. The risk is high, right? But the employee, we have to cut the salary. That's the impact. Customer appeal, okay, customers will come to the shop, but feasibility is very difficult. You cannot cut the salaries to reduce the prices. And you have to compare the cost of each solution, my dears, as I mentioned earlier, right? The cost of the each solution. If you are going for the, if you face some problems according to this picture, if you are going to the lawsuit, the cost is going to be high. If you are going for the mediation board, the cost is going to be low. So you have to compare the cost of each, and you have to compare the risks is involved. If I choose that option, what are the risks I'm going to face? What could go wrong? How serious are potential problems? And compare the feasibility of each solution. As I mentioned earlier, is it worth, whether I can afford this, right? So this is also you have to follow when evaluating the alternatives, and find out which solution will be accepted by employees. Sometimes your option, it cannot be accepted by the employees. So assessment areas are here when you are choosing the alternatives. Financial implications you have to consider, the resource requirements for that option, the implementation complexity, as well as the employee acceptance, right? And also the risk factors, right? So these are the things you have to consider in your assessment, right? When you are evaluating the alternative solutions, right? So my dears, I think today's session, I think this is enough, right? since I have another class also. So we'll do the balance parts in the next sessions. So see all of you in the next sessions. Okay.